13.2 miles in 2 hours and 46 minutes. You ain't scared of no heifer? Good morning. Just got up here at the trailhead and we're getting ready for this run. Gonna shoot for about the same amount of miles as last week, 13-ish miles. I changed up the plan on the way up here. Was gonna basically do the same trail that we did last week, but decided to switch over to a couple of loops. I've done each of these loops plenty of times before, but I've never combined the loops. So the two loops combined should be, I'm guessing just shy of 14 miles, but somewhere in the 13-mile range. That being said, Dale did his first half marathon last week. The goal that I'm building up to with Dale is about a 20-mile run. I have two options for that. Option one is obviously my preferred option. I'm hoping to knock out the first section of the PCT, which is I think just shy of 20 miles. Doing some research, 20 miles is about the safe limit to bring a dog, but obviously you got to build up to that. So that's what these runs are all about. And then there's another canyon here in this park, Mount Laguna, that is also about 20 miles. That was an out and back, so that one I could just show up to on my own, run it, and then end up back at the truck. The first one, like I said, was the first section of the PCT, so that's a point-to-point trail, which means I would start right at the Mexico border, and then I would need somebody to pick me up where it ends up at Lake Moreno, or get somebody to run it with me, and we just bring two cars and one person parks in each end of the trail. So that is what my goal is for Dale. The goal today is just to knock out these two loops. We got up here a little bit earlier than we got up here last week, but I can see the sun out to the east, which you likely don't see in the camera just yet. So we won't be in the dark too long today, which I don't mind, but also it's supposed to be a pretty cool day today, so I'm not really worried about Dale getting too hot no matter how late we end up going. But we should still be off the trail pretty early considering how early we got up here. Usually I like to have Dale off the trail before it hits 80 degrees, especially up here with this drier climate and less shade. And we typically do pretty good at that, getting them off the trail. I think I've seen 80 before as we're driving out, but after 8, 9, 10 miles of running, it's good to not have him out here when it gets too warm. My regimen for him is typically every 3 to 4 miles we stop for water, make sure he's doing good, look at his paws, make sure they're not getting too rubbed up, and then if everything looks good, we press on, which I think our buildup has really given him that stamina. He's over there, you can see his white light, giving him that stamina that keeps him going on the trail. And I think we've done a pretty good job at making sure that he stays nice and safe and healthy, especially with the in-between runs that we do throughout the week. It really just helps build him up. Anyway, I'm going to finish getting ready, and then we'll check in on the trail. May have to wait until it gets a little bit brighter before we do our first check-in. But it'll be some different views on this trail than last week. So join us for this nice 13-ish mile run. All right, there's the first view of the sun coming up over the horizon. We're only about a half mile into it. There's Dale. He's got his light on. Pretty soon we won't need any lights, but still the very beginning of the run here. We'll check back in a little bit. All right, we're just knocking out the first mile. So it's now bright enough. I don't need the headlamp. I still got Dale's light on him, just in case he wanders off a little bit further than normal. I could pinpoint him through the bushes. So just a quick overview of today's plan. Sorry, the first part here is always a little bit steep, but today's plan is to do this 7-point-something mile loop first, which is a little steep to begin with.
I've done it a couple times, so I know what I'm getting myself into. And then this loop overlaps with the next loop for maybe a mile or two, where it's nice and flat. And then we'll break off and find ourselves coming down to where we started, which is the parking lot. And then we'll get onto the next loop, which is a little 5-mile loop. Sorry, there's Dale, if you can see him. There he goes off into the wild blue yonder. Let's get a little view for you up here. That's the view up here at the top of the mountain. So, pretty gorgeous. Sun coming up over there. If you can see over there, the fog going right through the mountains over there. We had to drive through that on our way up here, but nice and clear up here above it. Never mind all my rat tails there. All right, yeah, that's a mile in. We'll see if there's anything cool to see at mile 2. We'll check in. If not, we'll keep on pressing. We'll check in when it seems right. All right, see you in a bit. All right, that last mile of the trail went by really quick, so we're on mile 2 now. Sorry for the bouncing around. My sweet wife tried hooking me up with a little stable cam. Just a little bit too bulky. Couldn't really find a good spot to keep it in my new vest without risk of breaking it, so I left it behind. But we just passed mile 2. It was mostly downhill. You saw in the last clip how nice this trail is. It really is like a well-worn, beautiful trail to follow. Dale just cruises through it. It's not rocky, so it's really good on his paws. But that's mile 2. We're gonna keep cruising along and keep checking off these miles. So we just passed 3 miles, making pretty good time. I know that there's gonna be some steeper sections, so I looked at my watch back there and we were in the low 8s at one point. So knowing how this trail is eventually, I think we probably get close to about 1,500 feet total to climb. And we've only done a couple hundred feet so far. So got to save the legs for some of the later, steeper miles. This section of trail right now is old paved road. Some sections turned to dirt, some are paved, but we're on a slight incline. So just slowing up for this little bit of an incline here. And then I know after this, it kind of drops back down into the trail. It's where we overlap with the next loop for a little bit. So I'll pick up a little bit of speed there, knock out a good quick mile or 2, get Dale his break. He's doing great. I took off into the woods a little bit ago, but he never ventures too far anymore. He does pretty good. But all right, that's 3 miles. See you at mile 4. All right, we're at our first water break for Dale and I. Well, for Dale, I got all this new sweet gear. So I have these straws that poke me in the mouth and remind me to take swigs of water every so often. So we're gonna stop and get Dale some water. It's gonna take too long. Yeah, we're 4 miles in, so we're at the part now where we overlap the next loop for a good couple miles before we break back off and head back towards the truck and then start the second loop. You notice now the camera's nice and steady, obviously, because I got it propped up against a tree with a pretty sweet backdrop there of the trees. And I alluded to earlier how my wonderful wife gave me DJI Steadicam to bring with me on the run, but it was really just too bulky. The reason why she has that Steadicam is because, unlike myself, she's actually a legitimate photographer. She's done wedding photography for a long while, does family photos and elopements and stuff like that, but she's kind of ventured out of the photography realm and now builds ads for people, builds websites for people, does social media for local businesses. And the point I'm trying to make here is when I was transitioning jobs, you want more water? I was trying to figure out what the heck I wanted to do. I got my degree in unmanned systems, which, you know, I thought would have been a passion of mine, but as I looked for jobs, I just wasn't finding anything. And she just kept emphasizing, do what you're passionate about and try to build that into a business. And currently you're looking at what I'm passionate about. What she's passionate about is everything I just listed before. And it's been amazing watching that just explode. I kind of compare it to a helicopter because I have a pretty extended history with helicopters. When it's trying to take off and it's doing like a running takeoff, it takes a little while to get out of what's called ground effect because you just don't have enough air flowing through the engines, so it needs the ground to kind of keep it afloat. And you're just kind of running along that runway for a while, and you're just stuck there, and you're putting in all the work, everything you need to do to keep growing and building, and then eventually you get to the point where you got enough forward airspeed, got enough wind coming through those engines, and you just take off like a rocket ship. It's shaped like a hockey stick, basically. And that's the part she's at now, where it's just exploding. And that's all because I believe because she's doing something she's passionate about. So, you know, when we would have those talks, the things that always came up were the gym and trail running. And so that's what I'm passionate about. Hopefully this passion makes it to its 4th household this week. We'll see what happens. But if not, who cares? I'm just going to keep doing it, keep enjoying myself, letting Dale keep enjoying himself and having fun out here. But we're all set with our water break. We are going to press on to mile 5. We're sorry, girls. Dale, come on, stay with me, buddy. Come on. Sorry for the disruption, girls. Just coming through. Wow, you guys are beautiful. Hi, girl. What a view you guys have out here. Come on, buddy. Come on. Go, boy, bud. Go, boy. Yeah, leave them alone. Good boy, they're nice. They're nice girls. Good boy, bud. Good job. Good job. You ain't scared of no heifer? Good job, buddy. All right, so we are now just passing mile 5. Saw in the last video. Had to meander through some cattle. No biggie. They were all sweet girls. Let us go right through. Didn't bother Dale. Dale got a little spooked, so took a wide berth around him, which I respect and I appreciate from him. But no drama. And we push on to mile 6. All right, mile 6, still feeling good. Can't really see it back there, but there's some storm clouds up to the north. Forecast doesn't have any rain in it. There's been some drizzle periodically throughout the run. Honestly, I wouldn't mind a little rain. I don't care if I get a little bit wet. I don't think I brought any towels, so Dale would destroy the truck. But even if it starts raining a bit, which again I don't think it's gonna, we're gonna keep pushing through and finish the goal of both these laps, which again is around 13-ish miles or so. All right, 6 miles in. See you at mile 7, where we'll be getting towards the end point of this first loop. All right, so there's 7 miles, which puts us very close to the end of the first loop. I contemplated skipping the truck and just pushing on to the next loop, but I got some gear I could drop off in the truck that I don't need anymore, and Dale's got a nice fresh ball of water sitting there too, so he doesn't have to tap into our running water. So we'll swing by the truck before knocking out the second smaller loop, and we'll see you back at the truck. We decided to swing by the truck instead of pushing on to mile 8, just to get Dale some extra water here. We could reload with supplies we got back here, and then I opted to get a little bit of electrolytes in me, and then refill the water bottle. But surprisingly, the parking lot is empty because it's a gorgeous day up here. It's, I don't know, maybe low 60s. I think the high was 61, but it feels perfect running weather. Got that fall bite in the air, and yeah, we're about to wrap up here at the truck and knock out the second smaller loop. Mile 8. My apologies if it's difficult to hear me. I'll try to talk loud, but the rain's moved in a little bit. Just wanted to put the microphone in my little fanny pack right there. You can see it. To keep it from getting damaged. That's another piece of my wife's equipment there, and I don't want to ruin that. Even if it was my equipment, I wouldn't want to ruin it. So, mile 8, we're into the second loop, Agua Dulce loop. This one we've done a few times. I'm trying to do math in my head, and I'm thinking that we may need to add on just a little bit to get us our 13.2 miles for the day. But anyway, we're gonna keep cruising through this loop, and we'll check in at mile 9. That 9th mile really flew by. We're on Dulce Road, which is some pretty flat dirt road, and the rain really picked up. I've always noticed that rain is kind of one of the top motivators, I think. I think back to my times working in Japan, I would always run home from work, and almost daily it would start raining on me, and those were some of my fastest paces going home. Little 4 or 5 mile runs, but the rain just really puts a little extra charge into you, which is probably why I'm out of breath right now, because holding about a 8:30 to 9 minute pace after already running 9 miles. So we'll see at mile 10, see if the rain lets up at all. If not, we're going to be dealing with a pretty muddy Dale in the back seat of my truck and everywhere else he bounces around to. It's mile 10. We're just going to do quick check-ins from here on out as I've run into some phone battery issues. So I'll see you for 11, 12, and 13. All right, there's mile 11. I cruised through that last segment there, trying to set a PR on it. We'll see what happens when we download everything to Strava. Then I had to slow down at the end there because A, I was out of breath. B, the cows were hanging out around the trail, and just had to safely get Dale through there, which he is great around those cows. All right, see you at 12. All right, took a sweet little detour just to ensure we get our 13.2 miles for today. Cool thing about the detour is it went downhill, so I got to pick up the pace a bit, but unfortunately that means now we gotta go back uphill. So heading uphill, final mile, point whatever, in the final stretch here. All right, there's 13 miles. So we're basically back at the truck, so we're gonna have to get a little fancy here and get another quarter mile or so to finish up this run. All right, and do some laps. All right, so we just wrapped up a little over 13.2 miles in 2 hours and 46 minutes. So a little bit faster than last week, a little bit flatter than last week, only by about 100 feet or so. That's good, this progress. Dale did amazing. He's bouncing around back there. If you can see him, made my seats nice and dirty because got muddy towards the tail end of the run there. But like I said, the that rain really puts a little extra charge into you, and it was really miles, I think 9 and 10 were probably my fastest pace of the day. We were just cruising, and then we got stuck behind some cows, and I think that pace kind of caught up to me a little bit. But nonetheless, we are headed home. That's a wrap on another Saturday long run up here in Mount Laguna. Hopefully we get up to the Sierra next week and do a beautiful fall run up there. Fall's my favorite time of year up there. But see you then, right there.